First Porsche review on the channel, and what a Porsche it is. Well, despite looking a bit like an egg. Shall we get into it? Yeah, let's. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Yes, this is a Porsche Panamera. It's also a Turbo S, which means it has the glorious 4.8 litre twin-turbo V8. It puts out 570 horsepower and 800 Nm of torque to all four wheels via a lightning-fast 7-speed PDK gearbox. Yeah, no 8-speed torque converter in this one. Let's see if the PDK can work its magic on the 30 to 70 sprint then, shall we? Right then, we managed 3.27 seconds, which whilst fast isn't exactly crazy given the fact it has all that power. The main reason for that time is weight, and a lot of it. This thing is a porker weighing in a very healthy 2 tons, and that's before you add any optional extras like this one has. This thing has pretty much every single optional extra you could get at the time, including heavy things like the rear entertainment pack and sunroof. So my bet is this thing's much closer to 2.1 tons than just 2. Anyway, let's have a look at the interior of this thing, as whilst it's defo starting to show its age, it's still an absolutely gorgeous car to spend time in. You have Porsche embossed leather, carbon fibre everywhere, a lovely set of dials and some interesting places for cup holders. Then there's the rear. It has some now very outdated but still very usable screens for entertainment, some more interesting cup holders and an armrest. It also has a fairly decent amount of room. Not a huge amount, but it's good enough for this segment of car, I think. Then the boot. It's not quite as big as an Audi RS6's boot, but it's still fundamentally huge compared to most cars. Plus, with the fact it's a hatchback style tailgate, it's easy to get things in and out. It's also very easy to fold the seats down, as they don't get caught on the front seats whilst you're folding them. Nice one, Porsche. Anyway, let's do the fun bit, shall we, and take this thing for a drive. Okay, so before we crack on, of course, the car in this video is for sale, so I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to go and check it out. Obviously, it's a Porsche Panamera Turbo S, so you probably do want to go and check it out. It's got brand new carbon ceramic brakes on it that was changed under warranty from Porsche, and it's got a very nice service history, and it's just been very well kept. Even though it's just done over 60,000 miles, it feels like a brand new car to drive. And that's not only because it's a Porsche, it's because the previous owner has looked after it. Anyway, driving around town, we've got very nice soft suspension on this thing. Obviously it's adaptive, so you can make it a little bit stiffer if you want, which I will do now. So if I put it in Sports Plus, it actually lowers the car and stiffens it up quite a substantial amount. So if I go over this speed bump now, you notice it feels very stiff. Still not overly stiff though. And you get little burbles from the exhaust. But comfort is the mode you want to be in 90% of the time, because this thing fundamentally is a lovely barge. It is sublime to drive no matter where you are. PDK gearbox sets you off in second gear, unbelievably smooth gearbox, yet very crisp shifts when you need them. The steering is light in comfort mode, and you just have oodles of feel coming through the wheel. Now, someone might correct me on this, but I do believe this is the last Panamera to have a hydraulic steering rack. A very complex hydraulic steering rack, but hydraulic nonetheless, and it just means you get this lovely feel through the wheel. It's light, but it has feel. I really want a car to come back on the market that has something like that. Yeah, no squeaks or rattles. Oh, it's just wonderful. Seating position is perfect. Being a Porsche, obviously it's going to be good, but it really is just perfect. Now then, parking this thing is another story. We'll wait for these bikers to go past. Hell's Angels. But yeah, in terms of parking, being a 2015 car, we do have a reverse camera, but it's showing its age just a tad. All the whites are overexposed. That's to help it work at night. But you do get lines telling you where you're going to go, and the visibility, do you know, is not actually that bad. I thought because of the very steep rake of the rear window it would be horrendous, but it's not bad. Wing mirrors give you nice visibility as well, and yeah, the lines telling you where you're going to go are very accurate, plus you have quite a lot of steering angle, which means you can still get into a space in one go. Parking sensors are still nice and accurate, and once you're in a space, can you get to the first notch? Just. Yeah, you can just get to the first notch. Oh, just listen to that. That is just so damn solid, isn't it? To think how old this car is, and it still feels almost brand new. No squeaks or rattles. Oh, it's just... like Porsche, they're just on a different level, man. They really are. Then coming out of junctions, I'll show you how well this thing performs. Obviously, all-wheel drive, huge power, half throttle, PDK gearbox, and yeah, it sets off with haste. It's bloody quick. Seriously quick. You know, anything over 500 horsepower is going to be fast, but the way this thing delivers its power to the road is just insane. It's so aggressive, and it's mainly because of the PDK gearbox. It just engages the gear quickly, it shifts gears unbelievably quickly, and yeah, it's just awesome. Anyway, before I'm at a total loss for words, let's reset our trip computer. Oh, you got to hold it down. See what kind of MPG we can get on the motorway. According to Porsche, this will do roughly 27 miles per gallon on the combined cycle. Yeah, which is not great, but it's a big old V8, so it's never going to be good. And I know a lot of people don't really care necessarily about the MPG figure, but what is important is that you can go a long distance without having to fill up constantly. That's one thing that is very irritating if you own a car like this, because fundamentally you're going to carry your family around in this thing, and if you want to go on a road trip, you want to know you can go, you know, at least 300-400 miles before having to visit the old petrol station. Anyway, let's now get on the motorway and see if we can hit that figure. But before that, let's take this thing round a roundabout and see how it handles. I think it's going to be quite good. Right then, Sports Plus, one button, the single press of a button will change the throttle response, the suspension, and does it change the steering? I don't actually know. Can't feel any difference yet. Might make it slightly heavier. Actually no, if it's hydraulically assisted it probably wouldn't, would it? Right, let's see how this thing handles. Foot down. Oh my god. This is with traction on, by the way. Well, yep, it's not slow. It's not slow at all. Even with the traction on, you feel the rear end squiggling around nicely. But being a Porsche, it just keeps you in that fine line between total loss of control and beautiful driving experience. I'm going to put my foot down again, I think. Whee! Oh my god. Oh, that is fast. That is really fast. Yeah. I'm at a bit of a loss for words right now because this thing has just completely knackered my brain. Yep, okay, let's go back into comfort. Yes, there we go. We need to see what MPG we do and how it is on the motorway as well. But yeah, today is probably not one of those days where I'm going to turn traction control off. We'll see you later. But yeah, this car is heavy and very powerful. Yet, already I can tell it kind of hides its mass very well. Obviously you can still feel it, but Porsche just, they do things that no one else can. They basically, it's like they've removed weight but haven't. I don't know how to describe it. Oh, it's so nice. Just touching the steering is just, oh, it's so good. You can just feel things on the road. More cars need to be like this, please. Right, let's get on the motorway. stop waffling. Right, coming onto the motorway, obviously this thing is just very powerful, so it doesn't even feel like it's trying. Ooh, going around that corner then felt very nice. But yeah, just tickle the throttle and you just glide. You just glide up to 70 miles an hour in this thing. It just feels so nimble though for such a large car. It just feels wrong. And then obviously if you do need a little bit of response from the engine, if I just slow down to around 50 now and then just half throttle, I mean it changes down 2 gears so fast, and yeah, it's like done. Its response is electric, and this car is nearly 8 years old now. This is the old Panamera and it responds like that. It's so unbelievably fast. Oh, I love this thing. It's just a shame it kind of looks a bit like an egg. But yeah, once we're on the motorway, visibility is pretty good. One thing I will criticise though is the wing mirrors, because they've got that kind of egg shape to them. It's kind of a theme with this car. The little curved bit of glass on the edge doesn't really show you your blind spot that well. So you kind of do have to like move your head about a bit. But yeah, the rest of it is pretty good. You've got nice little kind of curved bits in the A-pillars, so you can kind of see round them. A little bit of glass down there as well. So yeah, visibility is not too bad. Comfort is just insane. Seating position is very good. This is one thing I always say, right? So if you've got a good seating position, you can have seats that are fundamentally not that comfortable to sit in. You see what I mean? So you can have a fairly firm seat, but if you've got the seating position right, it'll still be really comfortable. It's much worse having a plush seat, but you're not able to get in the right position. You know, my elbows can reach the armrests, the steering wheel is just under my wrists, and it feels very comfortable to sit at 9 and 3 on the steering wheel. And yeah, over a long journey, this thing is just like, ugh, you just kind of melt into it. It's so lovely. And then sound insulation as well. Yeah, no wind noise, basically no road noise. You do hear a tiny bit coming from the pack, but that's only because you've got absolutely enormous tyres on the rear. But yeah, for a long road trip, this car would be sublime. Especially when you come to a corner like this one. You just don't even feel like you need to slow down, to be honest. You've got so much grip. I mean, yeah, let's just keep going. We just go faster and faster, and my eyes are coming out my head, and yeah, there you go. You catch up with traffic very quickly. But the way this thing goes around a corner for a 2-ton car is physically, well, it shouldn't be possible. It just shouldn't be possible, and it just does it. It's very strange. It's a sensation that everyone really needs to experience to kind of understand it. It's just so smooth. You can drive this thing slowly and still enjoy it. I think that's where Porsches are just so worth the money. You can drive it at 2 miles an hour and it still puts a smile on your face, because it's just so well built and it has just, everything feels good, and you have feel from the road, through the steering, through your bum. It's just, oh, it's lovely. Right, okay, I'm going completely bonkers now. Let's get on the motorway and see if we can hit 27 mpg. Again, it's not necessarily about the mpg, it's more how many miles can you do before you need to fill the thing up. And I'm only saying that again because people always comment, oh, no one cares if it does 27 miles per gallon. They only care how fast it can go from 0 to 60. If they've got loads of money, why would they care about fuel economy? So again, it's not necessarily the fuel economy people care about, it is how far you can go on a tank. And also, I've met quite a few people with a lot of money and a lot of supercars that do care about fuel economy. Right, let's go on the motorway. Okay, cutting this a little bit short just because there's a lot of traffic today, but we still managed 22 mpg. Whoa, really good stuff there. Yeah, on a long journey you would just about get 27 mpg, which is fine when you consider this thing has an absolutely humongous fuel tank. So on a long journey you will be able to get over 300 miles out of this thing, which is, ooh, pardon me, which is not too bad. But yeah, enough of the boring stuff. Let's get this thing onto a B road. Let's get the traction off. Let's have some proper fun, shall we? Well, there goes that plan. We're going to have to find somewhere else to drive. Because... what's happened here? Something interesting. Hopefully everyone's alright. Ah, there's been an accident. This is why you always got to give yourself time to slow down in the wet. Anyway, let's go to a small B road first then and see how this thing handles. Then we'll find another road later because, yeah, we got to get this thing on a wide open road and have some proper fun with it, haven't we? Small road first. How does this thing handle its weight? And can I get used to these really weird gear shift pedals? Let's find out. Okay, a lot of wheel spin. Apologies if you can hear any noise in the back. I have camera gear back there. Foot down. Oh my lord. I can't even rev this thing out because it's so fast. That steering is insane. Wow. Okay, can we hit 60 before the corner? Obviously we can. Oh, watch for this guy to go past, and we can still do it. Oh my lord. I don't actually know if that was 60 or not. That rear spoiler needs some grease on it. Whoa. Okay, yeah. Even though this thing is all-wheel drive, it's still very much rear-wheel drive. God, you can feel exactly where the grip is, though. I mean, just down this road, it's so tight. Come into corners like that, and you can just use your right foot to just place yourself exactly where you want to be. Yeah, the rear spoiler definitely needs a bit of lubricant on it. But yeah, in terms of driving dynamics, obviously, it's insanely good. However, these paddles, really not getting along with them. I'm sure I can get used to it, but, you know, just hopping into the car, trying to use them without ever having used them before is a bit difficult, because every other car that has a flappy paddle gearbox just has flappy paddles. Like, pushing forwards to go up just feels so freaking weird. I understand why they've done it. It's because you can then downshift and then upshift with one hand, but it does feel really strange. Good lord. Has a really nice throaty noise to it as well, this engine. Whee! And in Sport Plus, the suspension is just, it's insanely good. I mean, oh, okay, yeah, that's addictive. But yeah, as I was saying, the suspension is very good. This thing is a monster. Okay, what I'm actually going to do now is just leave it in auto, because this just confuses me. Let's just give it half throttle and then full throttle. Good lord. That's all I can really say. Thing is, even though it moves around a bit, it's very confidence inspiring. It's just the steering though that really stands out. You just feel exactly where the edge of the tyre is. Oh. Even though it looks like an egg on the outside, it's certainly not an egg to drive. It's like driving a supermodel. It's wonderful. I love how the little Sports Plus sign illuminates on the steering wheel as well. That's a really nice touch. yeah, I mean, down a small road, even though it's a big car, it handles unbelievably well. I don't know why more of these, especially second-hand, haven't really sold. I know they are expensive to maintain, but everything else in this kind of segment is. Like, you look at a nice F10 M5, that's fairly expensive to maintain. You look at a Audi RS6, which is kind of similar-ish to this, that's expensive to maintain. Also a Mercedes E63 as well, like the 5.5 litre V8s, the slightly older ones from this generation, are fairly expensive to maintain. But I mean, it's as if Audi made a car that was a proper sports car, and it's just called a Porsche Panamera. Yeah. It's a better Audi RS6, is the way I describe it. The way this thing drives, man. Whew. We're going to have to take it to another road and see how it handles there. So I suppose, let's go do that now, actually. Sound check time. 3, 2, 1, go. Yep, it sounds good. That doesn't sound good. Yeah, definitely going to have to break out some WD-40 for that. But the exhaust note, yeah, I prefer it over the newer 4-litre engine. It just has this, like, slightly older, more gruff, beefier noise to it that I really like. And I know it's not as powerful as the newer Panameras or Audi RS6s, M5s, whatever. It's still got more than 500 horsepower, right? So it's still insanely fast. You know, even sitting at 50 miles an hour, you just tickle throttle, shifts a gear just like that, and you just ride that wave of torque all the way up to 70. And it is just like that. It's crazy fast. Alright, let's take this thing back into Sports Plus, I think. Roundabout. It's a bit of traffic today, so we can't go too crazy. Let's give it a little blip. Oh wow, it just grips. Ruined my voice there. And floor it. Oh, yep, that's the speed limit. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get above like 450 horsepower, it's just kind of pointless. It's very nice to have it on the road, but it's fairly pointless. It's just so fast. Like, let's just slow down again, downshift. Oh, look how fast those shifts are. Even from 3,000 revs. There you go, done. Those shifts are so crisp as well, aren't they? One thing I noticed as well, this has carbon ceramic brakes, right? And journalists complain about these things all the time, saying they're a bit grabby or they feel a bit weird. They just feel like normal brakes. Maybe because they've been worn in quite well, but... oh, that noise. It's so gruff and ready. Those shifts, just crazy. It's an exquisite driving experience, this thing. And I think as its looks have aged, it looks quite, I mean, not necessarily good, but it doesn't look bad. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know when the V10 BMW M5 came out, I kind of thought it looked a bit really, it looked quite awful. Now though, I quite like the look of it. It's weird. It's one of those things, as it ages, it kind of matures. Ooh. Oh. It's that flow of air through the engine as well. You can hear it, just because it has so much power. Let's give it a little sort of launch out here, shall we? That was sketchy. Oh look, we caught up with the van already. It's one of those cars that you see traffic coming and you think, yeah, I've just always got time to get up to speed. You're never merging onto a motorway thinking, ooh, am I going to make it? It's just, yeah, obviously I'm going to make it. But yeah, I just love it how it squirms around a bit. It doesn't just hold your hand all the time like something like an Audi RS6 does. It's like a mature BMW M5. Also the steering, much better than an M5. Very, very nice steering in this. Combination of the gearbox, the engine, the steering, the suspension, everything is good in this. Literally everything. I mean, look at those shifts. What other sports saloon thing can do that? Those shifts are just crazy. You just, you know, give the throttle a little tickle. You can feel it moving around a bit, which is nice. Oh, it's fast. And there's a puddle there, so we're going to change lanes. And then we're going to go back to this lane. Wow. Yeah, it is one of those cars that kind of, it makes your stomach churn just a little bit because it's quite quick. That shift though, bang. It's like a gunshot, it's so fast. But just the feel of the steering. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's a four-door saloon that will go around the Nürburgring 24 hours a day, every day, for an entire year. Yeah, just overall, I think for the money, there's not a lot of cars that beat this. You know, you've got a car that can carry 4 people very comfortably, very happily, will do long road trips very comfortably again, yet handles genuinely as good as a sports car, even though it's heavy. I mean, it's so good. And because of its looks on the outside, you know, the price is fairly low, considering the performance on offer and the quality as well. That never gets old. So yeah, if you can get past the looks, the amount of car you get for your money it's very good. It's a very good deal. Even though it's £40,000 for something like this, carbon ceramic brakes, you can take this car to a track. Again, it's comfortable to travel in. It's just an all-round package. It's got a big boot. It's fairly reliable, even though it's a slightly older engine. It is still fairly reliable. Expensive to maintain, don't get me wrong, but it's still fairly reliable. And yeah, just overall, an awesome car to drive. Very, very few four-door cars have steering as good as this. It really is that good. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which of course includes this lovely Porsche Panamera. Link again is down in the description, and if you want to have a look at anything else we have in stock, there'll be a general link to the website as well, so you can check it out there. Anyway, my name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.